Come on, man. You just gotta stop doing this. Like I said, we can both win and get our shine on. Just gotta stop throwing shade my way. I mean, come on. Yo, what is up? Welcome back to another week of How to Health. My name is Kevin. I run liftingbalance.com, where we take aim at all things health and do it in an odd, weird, interesting, and highly sarcastic manner. Today, we are diving into how the sun, sunlight, sunshine, and some rays affect us on the outside and all the way down to the cellular and metabolic level. They call it the energy of life for a reason. Or maybe that's glucose. Anyway, it should be the sun because glucose wouldn't even exist without it. In fact, me and you wouldn't either. So let's get, wait a sec. Looks like something's off with the light here. Just give me a second. Look at that. Can't do a video about the sun without getting a few rays. Come on. This is a little chilly and windy though. I think we'll take it back. And we're back. Not gonna need these. So first off, why the sun is our friend. Like I said before, the sun is basically the facilitator of life. Even though at this point we may be able to, with modern technology, find a way to survive without it, I'd bet a pretty penny that the world would be a tad bit chaotic. Picture the Book of Eli, Mad Max, or the coronavirus 2020. I don't know. So it's a good thing that we have the sun because we wouldn't have made it this far without it. And we are finding out that many of our innate biological functions have evolved to be truly optimized when in sync with that big ball of fire. How so? First off, the sun is the natural regulator of our sleep-wake cycles, or circadian rhythms. When natural light hits the retina, gene expressions throughout the body begin to change, optimizing for daytime function. Secretion of serotonin, a feel-good neurotransmitter, increases, while melatonin, our sleep hormone, decreases. Explaining why simply getting a little sun anytime throughout the day can almost instantly energize you. There's a window right there. Studies have shown that an insufficient dose of daily or weekly sun can be a driver of depression. One example is seasonal affective disorder, which we've covered in a video on this channel. This is the relationship between depression and the change in seasons. The theory suggests that the change in available sun, or daylight hours, as well as the decrease in direct skin exposure, due to the body being more covered up during the cold months, is the reason why we may feel the winter blues.
Really?
Pretty interesting stuff. Now let's dive into the cellular level and look at what is happening after that sunlight signal is being received. And let's talk fat metabolism. Research published in scientific reports highlights the findings that fat cells contain light receptors, which may in fact trigger the metabolism of fat. How? Well, research found that blue light can actually make its way to subcutaneous fat tissue, and that the fat cells themselves seem to have the machinery to respond to that signal of light. In the study, after 13 days of light exposure, it was observed that fat cells were actually smaller, and there were fewer cells retaining lipid droplets, aka they weren't storing as much fat. Interestingly enough, researchers also found an increased amount of glycerol excreted from the fat cells, which suggests a higher rate of lipolysis, or fat breakdown. And of course, we cannot forget about one of the sun's longtime staples. For humans, sunlight is critical for the in-house production of vitamin D, an essential vitamin that is associated with bone health, elevating mood, and decreasing metabolic syndrome, obesity, diabetes, heart disease, stroke, lowering hypertension, and being somewhat of an immunosuppressant, which can be a good and a bad thing. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, we need the sun, but we just gotta make sure we don't go overboard. Can you overdo it? Ultraviolet radiation, UVR, is the one main blemish on the sun's otherwise impressive resume, and is broken into three spectrums: but only 2 can actually traverse the Earth's atmosphere and reach us: UVA and UVB. Both of these can, and probably will, wreak havoc on your body when exposed to them unprotected for long periods of time. The main dangers of overexposure to UVR are skin cancer, skin burning, ocular disease, and an increase in DNA damage. And I know that you know from all of our other talks that DNA damage is one of the biggest longevity liabilities that we face. Right? Right. Okay, good. Just checking. And listen, I think we've all fallen victim to getting a little too much sun at one point or another throughout our life. Shaking or peeling it off after a few days of uncomfort. Adding a little half-hearted self-talk in there, promising ourselves to wear sunscreen the next time, but right on cue we end up in the exact same position the following summer. It's one of those things. The scary part is, research suggests that the more burns that we experience early in life, the higher the risk for us developing cancers like melanoma down the road. Excuse me while I go grab some sunscreen. Forgot I'm inside. And another gotcha here is the fact that everyone's skin pigment is different. This makes you more or less sensitive to those vibes that the sun is sending down to us. So your tolerance to the sun is something that is very personalized to you. And it's something that you probably want to pay attention to. So what can you do? Recommendations from the World Health Organization advises that 5 to 15 minutes of sunlight on your arms, on your hands, on your face, 2 to 3 times a week is sufficient to get your vitamin D fix. As for the rest of the time, most leading experts recommend to get your SFP on. A physical water-resistant SFP 30, which blocks 90% of the sun's rays, is probably a good place to start. The exact dose varies between skin type and geographical location, but it's recommended to lather up either way because the damage does add up. And if you're not a sun person, there are other ways to obtain your daily dose of vitamin D. You can turn to fortified foods, fish, meats, mushrooms, dried in the sun. And of course, supplements can get the job done too. So if you see yourself identifying with Howie from Benchwarmers, some form of supplementation might be a good idea. Sun exposure truly fits into the moderation category. If you're too far on either side, you could very well be putting yourself in harm's way. As always, it comes down to the fact that everybody is different. What's optimal for one person may very well not be optimal for their neighbor. And when it comes down to it, it's really all about building the knowledge to make educated, good, healthy choices day in and day out. There are no guarantees, but there are odds, manipulable odds. So don't count out the power of the little things. I mean, for this video, we were talking about a big, massive thing, but little things make a difference too. They could very well be the reason why you're boogieing on the dance floor 40 years from now. We gotta end it there, because I got a date. Her name? The Golden Hour. Hope she's not cheating on me.